You're getting a look at where I'm headed today. It's the Empower Field, home of the Denver Broncos football team. I'm actually going to be taking a tour of the stadium, but there's a couple of things first I want to see, and doesn't cost you anything in case you don't want to take the tour, which gets kind of expensive. It's a small, in the back parking lot of the old Mile High Stadium they had before they built this one. And off at a distance, I spot the Denver Bronco bus with both emblems they've used over the years on it. But now back to the miniature stadium. It actually shows the 4 years that they won the AFC Championship when they were at the Mile High Stadium. And if you look over the fence, it wasn't open today to look inside it, go in it, but there was the orange and blue seats they had it. And as you have the gate there, it shows the years the field was in operation from 1960 to 2000 and the win, loss, and tie games they played there. And of course there's the Welcome to Mile High, but the little I is missing, it looks like, out of it. And off at a distance, you can't miss the emblem for the stadium, which was the Bronco horse up on toward the scoreboard. And it is a small replica, of course. The original one was redone when they were building the new stadium, and they have it over the scoreboard in the new stadium now. Next, below the horse and Mile High sign, we're going to be seeing a statue of their super fan that wore just a barrel along with a cowboy hat and boots to the games. His first barrel was signed by 49 Broncos on the team, and it had inducted into the Visa Hall of Fame section of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which does like mascots and all. And I will add that the Super Bowl 32 barrel he wore sold for $30,000. Now, just across from the Mile High miniature monument they've got there is a couple of statues dedicated to football. So let's take a look at that. They're not only dedicated to football, but what goes on in Colorado. And here you see mountain climbers, or ones that rappel down the mountains or whatever, are on a giant football. And as you go around it, you'll notice there's 3 different ones. I think it's pretty neat. The lady is climbing up the laces on the football. But there's more than just one statue, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. And it looks like it is maybe some gold miners pushing a football. So in Denver, I'm sure football is like gold to them. And the third statue in this row of statues that lead up to the entrance is a horse rider, or a bronco rider, you might say, on a football. So I thought it was real neat that they incorporated the state of Colorado in with football. And we'll take a look at the back section there of Empower Field, and then we'll head around to the front to go take a tour. We head around to the front of the stadium. I'd like to mention a little information on the horse statue that's above the scoreboard, and that horse was made from a mold that Roy Rogers had done of Trigger, and they asked could they reuse the mold, and Roy said yes, you can for your next statue, but you can't name the horse Trigger. They did a contest. The horse was named Bucko, but the fans now usually just call it Bucky, and after this the mold was broke. Next, as we get closer to the entranceway, you'll notice 7 bronze horses, or Broncos as they call them, and this was an addition to the new stadium when they built it. And I like that the first horse is raised up and kind of reminds you of the original Bucky they have. Now on over to take a look at some of the dedications to some of the great players as well as staff. There's Shanahan down there, which was a coach, and there's Haven Moses, a great player. And the number 7 is not that of John Elway. It's a quarterback that had that number before he did, which was Craig Morton. And I like it because he's beside of Haven Moses, as they were called the M&M connection for Moses and Morton when they played. And the one there with the D is a staff member, of course, and since it doesn't have a number. And across from that section, you're going to notice a giant bronze statue of Pat Bowlen, which was one of the main owners of the Denver Broncos, along with some information not only about Pat Bowlen and the football team, but it also shows some other sports stuff around it. Well, it's almost time for our tour, so let's take the mile-high walk to the entrance for it. Thought I'd use that slogan since we were going around the sidewalk and saw this sign. The tour started us on one of the upper levels of the stadium, and there you go looking out to see the monument to the previous Mile High Stadium ahead. And here's a view showing the two stadiums being built close to each other. Here's a look at the Ring of Fame, and if you're a Bronco fan, you'll recognize a lot of these names, such as Steve Atwater, Shannon Sharp, Rick Upchurch. Red Miller was a coach at one time for him. Peyton Manning, of course, played quarterback, and Pat Bowlen was an owner. While we were up in one of the suite boxes, there was a menu there, and I thought I'd show you that. You may want to pause. It lets you know that you could get a pizza for $51 to $60. You could get 4 dozen chicken wings for $154, or even a dozen hot dogs for $90. Thought you might like to see a view from up above at the upper level and of Denver, and then you get down and there's this sketch there of Denver, and a sign is talking about altitude sickness is real, and I'll agree, as I have to take medicine for it. They also don't want the visiting team to not know where they're at when they come out, if they're in Broncos country, just to give them, I guess, a little thought before going out. And here is again the Ring of Fame, and it's got John Elway underneath the horse there, of course. And John never played in this stadium. He only played in the Mile High Stadium. Also, you'll see Peyton Manning's name up there, and there is a jersey of his in one of the floors in the upper levels that we saw earlier. Speaking of Peyton Manning, he always liked the number 18, and Frank Tripucka had that jersey retired there, but he let it come out of retirement for Peyton to wear it, and then it went back into retirement after Peyton finished. There's the only 3 numbers that's been retired. John Elway's number, Floyd Little's number, and Frank Tripucka. Now we'll just take a little look at the Hall of Fame Sports Museum they've got there. And of course there's a John Elway jersey on display. Of course the Sports Museum is not just about football, but that was the main reason when we're here today, to take the tour of the stadium, and also very appropriate to see John Elway's jersey there. And they have, of course, a board there with a lot of information on him, and they do that on all the inductees they've got there. If you're a Bronco fan, you'll know that John Elway, before retiring, helped Denver Broncos win 2 Super Bowls, and since retiring he's been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Off at a distance I see a case with some footballs and a basketball, so I will mention that the old-looking football there is from a championship game ball against the University of Colorado and Colorado State University, as it's a rival that's been going on since 1893. Of Of course, now you're looking at a newer football. It's from 2008. A little different looking from the first one we looked at. And then there's a painting that has caught my eye on the wall, and it shows all kinds of sports figures, basketball and track and field and all. But of course, at the very top is also John Elway. There's Louis Wright and John Elway pictures there to look at. And the Denver Broncos even have like a football club, and they have many fans, and they say the tickets are sold out for many, many years. And there's a section dedicated to the women athletes from Colorado. And it shows a locker set up there, and the shirt in there is a Terrell Davis shirt. And they've got different other sports memorabilia dedicated to different things. And of course, that was one of the jerseys retired was Floyd Little, and it has his pads up there on it at the top. And this was new to me. I didn't realize Babe Didrikson had a connection there to start with in Colorado. I think Babe is buried, I believe, in Dallas, Texas. Of course, I dedicated some to baseball stars they had. And then if you're connected with much in the sports world, the next one that I'm going to show you, you'll remember that name very well. It's boxing legend Jack Dempsey. And it tells a good bit about him, and it shows him there as a family man. And I thought it was pretty neat. It had a set of his boxing gloves in a display case, along with a letter that was from Jack Dempsey. And as we look at the last few things, I will say I got my name as a Tennessee girl, and when I first started watching football, Tennessee didn't have a football team, and I was a Denver Broncos fan. That was way back when Craig Morton was the quarterback, and Red Miller was even the coach. But Titans have a football team in Tennessee now, and so I'm definitely a Tennessee Titans fan. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I thank you so very, very much for watching my video, whether it be this one or any of the others I've done. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to. Thanks again. Have a good day.